Welcome to the Park Life Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Croker. During the IAAPA conference held recently on Queensland's Gold Coast, I had the rare opportunity to sit and speak with Ken Whiting. Ken is the chairman of the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, otherwise known as IAAPA. Ken's family history, directly associated with the industry, moves across generations. Our time was tight, but we still managed to cover a little of his remarkable life. We began by speaking about how much he was enjoying being down under and getting a sense of his current roles inside an industry he dearly loves. This was a real highlight of the Park Life podcast journey so far. I'm sure you'll enjoy a little time here with Ken Whiting.
One, it's great to be in Australia, and the IAAPA conference is phenomenal, seeing how passionate people are about our industry in this side of the world. I'm here for one reason. I'm representing IAAPA, the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, which is my volunteer job, as this year I'm privileged to be chair of the association and to that end an ambassador and going around the world to lots of different events and supporting and promoting the parks and attractions industry. And then and I'm president of my family's business, Whiting's Foods, and food and beverage operator at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk in California. Family business, multiple generation, and been doing that for many, many years.
Can we maybe step back in time a little bit?
Yeah.
I know I only have you for a little bit of time here because of your schedule, but could we jump back in time a little bit? And when you mentioned the family business, how far back does that family business go? And are you obviously keenly aware of its origin?
Sure. So we're 70 years young, if you will, almost 1953. My dad was a milkman, just delivering milk to different businesses in Santa Cruz, California. One of them happened to be a concessionaire. There was lots of them in the park back in that day. The Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk has got a long legacy. Started in 1907, so 115 years old. And so my dad was a milkman, and his concessionaire said, "Hey, I'm going to sell this place. You might want to, maybe you're interested." And my dad bought this one single little ice cream stand, and then one thing has led to another after since then, for sure.
Yeah. What was that like growing up? What are some of your earliest memories of Dad?
Yeah. So hard work, details matter. It was. Through his eyes, it was a family business, and when you were tall enough to look over the counter, we're gonna find something for you to do, right? Yeah. My mom and dad had 8 children. I'm one of 8, and so they clearly had their own plan for dealing with staffing. We all did long tours of duty and at a young age through college life, and most went off and were doing different things, mainly because the business wasn't supportive of having all 8 working full time, but we went to work. And my job, I'm proudly claim, is I started peeling bananas for chocolate dip bananas.
Wow!
And that was my entry into our industry, into our family business, and into our industry as I was really more into the amusement park business and operating within that environment. We were never interested in going and doing food service and restaurants someplace else. I love the amusement park business. I love the people that we employed and work with, and the fraternity that kind of came from that.
What gave that love to you? Where did that come from?
Well, I guess we all have certain passions and personal interests, and just when I was young, right, it was simply in the same age as so many of our team members. It was just simply a place to know a lot of people around town, and so from every school in the area, I knew people from every place, right? And obviously, my personality was one of wanting to get to know people, and I'm a friendly guy, I think, most of the time, and so that just served my social interest, perhaps. And we had a lot of fun. I mean, it was and that still occurs. I'm sure that before work, after work, days off, we're hanging out with coworkers, and it was good. As I matured, if you will, a little bit, I've just grown to have when I was in my early 20s, I had a lot of more senior statesmen, if you will, within our industry, kind of become mentors and friends, and that really left a mark on me. And so as I became older and older and older than a lot of others, just a very personal interest became one of what can I do for them.
That's a great place to be in. When you mention that, can I go back in time, and when you mentioned mentorship, how important in your career and its evolution was mentorship from key people?
I'm telling you right now, in the I'll mention IAAPA in a moment, but there is in the United States, we have a amusement, theme park, food service workshop, and good God, 40 years ago, I suppose, only after it had been started a couple of years, I was invited to attend, and I sat in the back corner and didn't want to make eye contact with anybody. There's probably 30 people in the room is all, but they were the senior leadership of food and beverage at Universal Studios and Disneyland, and in the United States, these are big parks, right? And Kings Island, Cedar Point, San Diego Zoo, Silver Dollar City, big properties back then. And I sat in the back corner hoping they'd never look at me or talk to me, that I could get out of there. Somehow I was brave enough to show up, but now I wanted to leave. But you know what? They cared. They asked what I thought. They were sincere. They were willing to share information and their own experiences, their failures as much as their successes that they would deem to be. And it left a quick mark on me in terms of they became mentors, longtime friends, and they were 10, 20, 30, 40 years older than me, and I learned more from them than anything else ever in life, professional and perhaps personal.
Would you say to people that might be listening that are looking to light a fire and follow a path, who are having their moments where they're sitting at the back of the room wondering, should I be here and do I make eye contact? For a lot of people, getting in their own way and second guessing themselves.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
You would say to them, put yourself in the room and ask the questions.
I'd say if you made it that far, but one, I'd say put yourself in the room. Yeah. I'm a believer in saying yes. When opportunities come, you say yes and ask questions later. And once you get more detail, maybe you can always say no, right? You can always say, well, you know what, I'm really truly not available that day. Yeah. but the moment someone asks, you say yes, because you want to be approachable, and you want you don't know what kinds of opportunities will come from that. And I was inclined to be that person who said yes, so I went, kind of not really knowing, and then realizing in the room, if I was to do it all over again, I'd say to my younger self, I'd say yes again for sure, and I probably wouldn't. I think I'd have more self-value in terms of if I'm in the room, I'm okay, and it's okay to ask. There are no dumb questions, right?
Yes.
I'd ask questions and let people know that I have perhaps more to learn than them, and you'll find out whom is willing to kind of reach out and take you under their wing and to pay a little bit more attention to you.
Yeah, fantastic.
For sure.
Over the course of your lifetime in the industry, it seems like with the food background and then obviously the attractions element, you've got a full 360-degree sense of the machinations that drive park business. What's been the most appealing part of that for you over the course of a lifetime?
I did the relative piece to the story I just shared. Then also within IAAPA, after a few years, and when I kind of became a fairly willing volunteer and a little bit more visible. Now I'm starting to meet people from all different disciplines within the industry, and at every level of position within the organizations, and I quickly became friends with a lot of very senior people that had nothing to do with food and beverage, or maybe at the level that I was working, that they had overall park responsibilities, and so they also became good mentors. What probably inspired me the most at that point in the bigger picture is the people side, leadership development, that of a younger age group, the impact that we have as employers on one, keeping them in the industry, but maybe more the point is just how do we educate and motivate and recruit and retain them to contribute to the business, but also serve their own interests for a successful future. We can invest like crazy in all the latest IP and technology, but at the end of the day, we need people to run the parks, and so that became the place where I chose to weave my way through all elements of the parks industry is through the people side.
That's fantastic. Look, I know we only have you for a little bit of
right.
time. If I could just ask you, when you reflect back, I'm sure there's many, what's a moment of real pride that when you reflect back, that a first thought that pops in where you had a real sense of pride in something that had been achieved by yourself or a team?
Well, two things that hit me in the top of my head. I haven't given this any thought. One was I've done consulting, all on food and beverage, on people, leadership training in a lot of parks. But the very first time a park came and asked me, "Hey, could you come and meet with my team?" I mean, because that was not on my radar at any level. I was just that guy saying yes and doing presentations at the association and helping out where I could. And the first time I was asked was like, holy smokes! And you're going to pay for my travel? and you're asking me how much I'm supposed to charge?
Yeah.
And I was a little in shock. I was probably I don't remember exactly, probably early 30s, and that was one of those things that I said yes, by the way. And
That's
then
great.
You take that first little step, and then things become more normal after time. And then I don't know, now it's probably just 10 to 12 years ago. I have to think about that for a moment, but I was asked if I'd consider being on the board of IAAPA, and I never aspired to that. I had made pretty much a lifetime commitment to the industry and hanging with IAAPA as a volunteer and helping wherever I could, but I didn't ever have a vision of how that role might evolve. And when I was asked to be on the board, it was like, whoa, some others I've noticed. I mean, people that I hardly even knew or knew well somehow found that maybe I had something to deliver. And so I wasn't young when that happened, but it was still a surprise, and which I wasn't looking for it.
I love the theme of your life, which seems to be this narrative thread of saying yes.
There would be a lot of people that would tell you that's one of Ken's lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, you say yes.
Yeah, it's a simple and elegant life thought for people, isn't it?
And it's, I already said this, but it's absolutely okay once you know more facts. You can always say no, or adjust your yes.
Yeah.
But absolutely be willing to, when someone asks you, don't get all the conditions first.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
One last question. What still keeps you motivated and drives you? What gets you out of bed still caring to do it?
Well, I don't want to repeat myself on just the people side of life, because that really is where I'm really focused more now on the youngest of our employees globally.
Yes.
And how as a cumulative as employers, what are those things that we can be doing, even to keep them in the industry? I think so many seasonal people are, they don't view us as a career when they take their job. That's all. And so how can we at least be a consideration as they're pursuing any chosen academic track? They circle back around to how can I be a mechanical engineer, or be a marketing professional, or be a culinary food and beverage professional, and consider the parks and attractions industry. That's part one. I suppose the other piece would be from my own business standpoint. At my age, it's transition. We are a family business. I've got nephews and one daughter that are doing the heavy lifting. That's why I'm able to sit here in Australia and visit with you today. And but how to make that transition, and it will be. It's been a lot of work done, but very positive, and so that we're growing. Family businesses, you get to that third generation, fourth generation, don't have a great reputation or a great history of success or sustainability from the founders' kind of visions, and so we've done a lot of discussion and work around what that looks like, and making sure that we have the next generation on board and consistent, and allowing them to contribute under the values and kind of mission that we have identified. But they've got to make their own decisions, right? As well. So we really focus on our mission and values and trust that we can move forward.
That's wonderful.
That. But that's really right now in my life. How it's how do we do it in a post-COVID world?
Yes.
That we all kind of we came together in ways we didn't know we could or had to, and so now it's everyone's going to kind of I'm on the downhill slide, right? So,
but I love the fact though that you're very aware of this is the era and the time in your life to be sure that we're giving back and trying to open up the pathway, so that there's another generation coming through who will take the industry forward. It's wonderful to sit with you. I've been aware of you for some time. I've heard you speak in the past, and obviously being in the industry, I'm aware of your reputation, which is held in high regard. Just getting you for this short amount of time is a great honour, and I appreciate you taking time out just to share a little bit here on Park Life.
Michael, thanks. I will echo that as well in terms of your reputation in the industry. I think we know each other, maybe even through LinkedIn, and, and having the chance to visit here and get to see you in real life, in person, is rewarding. I appreciate it.
It's a great honour to meet you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.